The Book of True Life, Teaching 42 of 366. The Master teaches, I wanted peace for you, but you sought the pain. Divine Revelations, Mexico, from 1866 to 1950. The Lord says, I come to remove the obstacles disturbing your work in my fields, for you are the ones chosen to fulfill this mission. You shall make the truth of my teaching known to humanity. Be strong, for I have seen that you lack faith, that you allow yourselves to be defeated by discouragement, and that you will not arise with strength from your falls. You doubt once again, as you did in the second era, and in order to believe, you ask me for material proofs, which I must not grant you. Be not like the scribes and priests who, with the scriptures in their hands, believed that my arrival among humanity in the second era would occur in a specific form, and upon seeing that I was fulfilling my mission in a manner unlike what they expected, they doubted. The miracles they demanded were not granted to them, since I had already outlined the path that I would follow, and all was fulfilled as it was written from eternity. You doubt because your hearts are not yet prepared. You did not know my prophecies, and very few have analyzed and understood my revelations in their entire truth. And yet, even though your hearts were not aware of it, your spirits sensed that I was to come among you once more. And today, my word, like a fine chisel, is molding you and substantiating the truth of my manifestation. Truly, I say to you, that you must not attempt to test your Father. Pray and enter into deep meditation. It is now time for you to return to me and be reunited with your Creator. Remember that if you have wept on earth, it was not I who caused that suffering. I have not rejoiced in your restitution, nor have I been indifferent to your pain. I merely wanted to prepare and elevate your spirits. I have always loved and forgiven you. Press into the essence of my word and discover all that I want to reveal to you through the maladaptive lips of these spokesmen. However, do not seek to hear me through their mediation alone. I have taught you the perfect prayer for you to communicate from spirit to spirit with your Father. This will allow you to speak to me in the language that belongs to the Spirit, as well as receive my wise and loving answers. Why do you ignore my work of spiritualization and fail to hear the voice of the conscience speaking to you from within yourselves? Why do you only believe human words and judgments, allowing your spirits to wilt like waterless flowers beneath a parching sun? The children will communicate with me. They will receive my messages and amaze you with their advancement. They will instruct you in my doctrine of love, and their conviction will be firm. Do not feel humiliated by that. If, in the midst of your homes, you observe them offering proofs of spirituality, guide their steps. Allow them to rejoice and delight as they perceive the elevated regions where the virtuous beings live. And in their ecstasy, they will feel themselves close to me, forgetting their pain and suffering. Do you not see the patience and anguish of your Father as he observes the slow awakening of his children? My fatherly love guides you towards peace, and the ordeals that humanity is enduring guide you along the narrow path leading to me. All must reunite with their Creator upon this path. Among you are the laborers that love you, fighting to bring light to humanity. Today, they offer me the fruit of their labor, full of faith. These are the children that have listened to my teaching, who have done their share of the work, and who, today, present me the first fruits of their spiritual harvest. Their prayers are a request for their brothers to attain peace. For them to be happy, it is not enough that merely their own nation is at peace. The lamentations of people they do not know reach them, but they know they are suffering. Their spirits are touched. They pray for their brothers, and I tell them that this peace will come once the ordeals have left their seed in the hearts of those who suffer today, once the pain has purified their souls. You are aware that, all the while you listen to my word during those joyful moments of spiritual elevation, to be closer to me, many of your brothers are dying on the battlefields. That many mothers have seen their sons depart, their hearts torn apart by the pain. That many young children are weeping, having been abandoned by their parents, and that everyone is struggling in their pain. I am telling you, you are unaware of the period you live in, for this is a time of restitution and difficult trials. You, as my disciples, feel obligated to pray, so that peace and comfort may descend upon your brothers. However, I ask you if you have known how to make use of the peace that I have granted you. Why do the parents weep, feeling that their family is a heavy cross they must bear upon their shoulders? And even though some have me so close to them, why are they spiritually ill? Because they lack faith and trust in me, and they were not able to renew themselves. You, people of Israel, do not sin. Rather, save the sinners, enlighten those trapped in error. If you wish to keep your peace, work for them, honor your parents, and perceive yourselves as brothers. Love one another. Every time you come closer to me, you feel my love strengthening your spirit and body. You also know that when you distance yourselves from me, the peace departs from you as well, and your spirit begins to suffer. Truthfully, your conscience always tells you if you are on the path of the law, or if you have departed from it. I am the law, and I always inspire you to fulfill it. When you stubbornly pursue the enjoyment of forbidden pleasures, I permit you to learn and understand, through personal experience, that those pleasures will only ever offer you pain. After a fall, you acknowledge your fault and return to me, asking that the pain may serve your restitution. Learn, so you may prepare the hearts that are anxious to get to know my word, and you may speak without fear. If there is any trace of selfishness within your hearts, you will not be able to offer anything to your brethren. Be aware of the love and mercy with which I speak to all of my children, and offer that same love to your brothers. The time approaches in which I will send you to distant lands and nations, to bring light to your brethren. But you must prepare yourselves by studying and analyzing my doctrine, so you may be able to give testimony of its truth with your deeds of love and mercy. I do not want you to later regret the time you have wasted by not making use of my teaching, for there will be great ordeals. Many will lament that they have not heard me or believed in my teachings, while some will already be dwelling in the spiritual by 1950. Some of my children weep while listening to my word. May those tears serve to cleanse those who have stained themselves. You who are listening to me, fulfill my will, as you did in the first and second eras, for you are the same spirits that have been developing from one era to the next. Once you have reached the end of your restitution, you will come to me and not return to incarnate on this earth. How many times have I told you that if I had incarnated again in this era to give you my word, as I did in the second era, I would have died a martyr once more. That lesson is over and done with, and today I come to give you the lesson corresponding to this time. Understand that the form in which I manifest myself to communicate with you, that is, through human spokesmen, offers you yet more proof of my love for you. These individuals that serve me carry a heavy cross, and they will suffer for having followed me. They will be rejected and ridiculed, but I will protect their spirits, and later, when they have finished their mission, I will give them rest and peace. Today, you ask me to fulfill your bodily needs, but I tell you, rather ask for the fulfillment of your spiritual needs, for all other things will be given to you in addition. Consider the fact that you are merely transients on this earth, and that, on your long journey, you have experienced pain and tripped over sin. And only after you have fallen and failed to find a helping hand to get you back on your feet, you remembered that there exists a kind Father in the beyond, who is more than willing to give you all that you require. In him, you may find a cure for all your illnesses, not only for those that weaken your body, but also for those that afflict your soul, like a painful burden that oppresses you. O beloved children, you have not wanted to elevate your spirits, and you have not granted them the necessary time to meditate and fulfill their duties. Consider all the gifts you possess. You have all that you need to reach the top of the mountain, where your Father awaits to give you your reward. All of you are enlightened and prepared to learn about the revelations of this time. When you spiritualize yourselves, not only will you be able to operate on earth, but I will allow you to travel to other dwelling places of your brothers as well, and there you will sow the seed of love and mercy your Father has entrusted to you, as good laborers. Do not be satisfied with merely the first lesson you received. Continue forward, seek my word, recognize its spiritual meaning, so you may speak to your brothers with conviction. Do not fear the judgment or ridicule of men. Could they persecute you if there is purity in your heart and righteousness in your deeds? I rejoice in welcoming the innocent and those of a righteous heart, asking me for help, seeking me as the doctor of doctors. I am also pleased to see you forgetting your own sorrows in order to present me your needy brothers, whom you have converted with my teaching. I bless those who have alleviated the suffering of their brethren, and I give them the necessary strength to fulfill my commandment, which tells you, love one another. I have seen how some of my children doubt me, not allowing their spirits to develop their gifts. And when it became necessary for them to speak to humanity about my doctrine, they remained silent, not remembering what I told them, namely, that I will speak through all who are prepared, and that if no one is prepared, I will speak through the forces of nature. My children, you who wander on the face of the earth without knowing your elevated destiny, I ask you, when do you intend to fulfill your mission? If you sleep today, you will awaken tomorrow in the beyond and weep over the time you wasted. You will ask me to let you return to the earth, but then your restitution will be quite painful. When you hear the Master warning you, and you examine your deeds in the light of your conscience, you will discover that the seed I have given you has not multiplied. I ask you, how will you prepare the new disciples seeking this heritage if you fail to give testimony of this teaching with your deeds? On the first day of the year 1939, I announced the impending war to you. You palpably experienced the destruction and chaos that occurred in many nations. You have seen one war after another go by, and you are still not aware of the time you live in. In the coming years, you will behold great division and conflict among the nations. The strong will confront the strong, and in that battle they will lose their power and surrender. Meanwhile, many spirits will lose their physical bodies and enter the spiritual valley, with the dismay and pain of not having prepared their return to me. But on their way, they will meet Elijah, who will point out the path of their restitution to them. Today I announce to you that the time is approaching in which great spirits will arrive here on earth. Those spirits will work towards the peace and elevation of humanity. Prepare the way for the coming generations. Blessed are those who have believed upon hearing my word. Moreover, I tell you, blessed are those who believe without having heard me, carrying a temple within their hearts, loving their brothers and interceding for them. Their faith is like a blazing flame, illuminating the path of their restitution, and through that faith they will behold me. Today you gather around the fountain of grace to quench your thirst, and you recall my words with which I told you, "He who drinks of this water will never thirst again." In this time you thirst for light, for truth, and for peace. You know only pain and falsehood, and you seek the healing balsam that will heal your wounds and revive your hope. Here I am, welcoming your heart and offering comfort. Impatiently you await the days when I will give you my word, and you say to me, "Father, only during these moments of elevation towards you does my spirit find respite. I forget the things that pertain to the world, and I feel the peace of your spirit saturating my entire being." Blessed are those who have realized that this is the time of grace, in which my teachings guide you and assist you in your restitution. If you know how to listen to me and comply with my laws, then there will be no human power capable of hurting you, and you will feel caressed and guided by the Father. Even though you have not sought me before, today you know that the hour of your spiritual awakening has been set, and that I await your arrival to offer you your heritage. Now that you have received my blessings, with gratitude you ask me if I would permit you to become my laborers. And permit it I do, for that is the very reason I sent you to this earth, so you may get to know my doctrine and spread it among humanity. But in order to attain the true knowledge and develop the spiritual gifts you have been blessed with, you will first have to battle against your materialism, your weaknesses, and your sins. Then, when you feel that you have properly prepared and purified yourselves with your restitution, offer your love to your brethren as a jewel of priceless value. You have not come to the earth to offer tribute to the world, for you have a much more elevated mission to fulfill. Your mission as disciples of your Father awaits you. After you have fought hard to spread my doctrine, after your feet have been wounded by the thistles, and after your garment has been torn on your long journey, come to me. Do not be afraid to arrive naked, without any clothing or provisions. For if you gave all your belongings to your brothers, I will return to you what you left for them. I will shower you with my graces, as a reward for the love and charity you offered your brethren. A great battle awaits you, but your spirit will not waver while fulfilling its mission, for you will be supported by the Good Shepherd and the spiritual world. If you love me, if you have faith, the task at hand will be no trouble. I will triumph over the disbelief of the stubborn spirits, and they will listen to you. Others, however, will not learn about this doctrine during their current incarnation on earth. I have already told you that not all who presently inhabit a physical body will get to know this teaching of the third era. Many will have to return to the spiritual valley first, and from there they will perceive this work of love and believe in it. Those who listen to my word, but were unable to comprehend it or my will work after they depart from earth and fulfill their mission that way. Even though my teaching is clear, not all of you have analyzed and understood it. You have not nourished yourselves with this fruit I have offered you in this era. I have told you that every tree can be recognized by its fruit. The flavor of my word is sweet, and its essence gives life to the spirit, but you refused to recognize its truth. You have been fragile vessels in the midst of a raging sea, and you have allowed your faith to extinguish many times. You do not feel me, even though you know I am at your side. Many times I have told you that, in comparison, your lashes are further from your eyes than my spirit is from your spirit. Be alert, for the wolf in sheep's clothing lies in wait to deceive you. When you are finally ready to share this divine love and mercy with your brothers, temptation approaches and alters your intentions. If you experience your brothers of different doctrines pointing out your errors and lecturing you, be humble and listen to their words, for my inspiration descends upon everyone who prepares himself, and you do not know if it is my will to avail myself of your brothers to correct you. I have chosen my disciples from among all social classes, those who lived in poverty and begged for their daily bread, and others who have lived a life of wealth and comfort. I have called upon these wealthy individuals as well, but without understanding the treasure they received from me, they feel ashamed to become part of this people. I forgive your sins, even if you were aware of committing them. I always show you the way by which you may reach me. Can the child present itself to the Father with a stained spirit and without good deeds? Its conscience tells it that only after fulfilling its mission will it be able to return to me. Understand that each moment that passes reduces the time in which I will give you my word. Use it so that tomorrow you will not weep for the teachings you missed. Meditate on the fact that you must fulfill the mission of bringing the good news to your brothers, just as there was someone on your path who shared the good news with you. Who can forget the one who spoke to you of my word and led you into my presence? Do you not wish for someone to remember you with love and gratitude? Persevere in goodness. Allow your heart to be purified in virtue, and you will behold the development of your spiritual gifts. Do not turn back, for you will feel as if your gifts were leaving you. The time has come for you to not only ask, but to know how to ask. So you will not say, "Father, I have requested much, and I have received nothing. Do not forget that I have more to give than you can ever request, and that while you are asking the Father to give, I am asking you to know how to receive. Belong to my good disciples, those who undertake their mission with sincere love and faith. If yesterday you traveled along uncertain and forbidden paths, today you must travel along the path of my law. If earlier, in your confusion, you lifted your hand to harm your fellow man, may you now strive to use that hand for tenderly caressing your brethren. If yesterday you have sown the seed of hatred and of ill will along your path, may you now be sowers of the seed of peace and brotherhood. Truly, I say to you, whoever remembers your deeds of yesterday and now beholds you transformed into my disciple, he will have to realize that your faith has truth as its basis. With this, you will not have to say much to convince those whom you are trying to teach, for your deeds will be the greatest testimony you can offer your brothers. To the mothers I say, teach your children how to take their first steps, both in the material as well as in the spiritual, so they may be able to find me, love me, and elevate themselves. Be aware that each new generation emerging from among you will attain ever greater spiritual progress. Use your intuition to guide them, and do not give them bad examples or spoiled fruits for spiritual nourishment. I do not want these new generations to stumble or go astray because of you. I do not want to see them weeping because of a lack of love among them. Today, as I behold your humbled spirits, I come to give you my new commandments. In past times, all of you dreamt of power, wealth, worldly glory, and pleasures. And it was back then that you shouted against Jesus, "Crucify him." You did so because Christ preached humility and taught you to renounce all insignificant things. Today, you are content with a little peace, a bit of bread, and a secure roof over your heads. Life and its lessons have made you humble, and with that, your spirits have attained freedom. As long as man possesses the ostensible peace offered by the world, and believes to have all he needs, he will not approach me. But when humanity attains true spiritualization, then it will possess everything, and its joy and delight will be profound and real, similarly to how the Father rejoices and takes pleasure in all he has created. O people of Israel, my fatherly love gazes upon you and judges your deeds. My divine judgment will visit all beings. No one will be able to escape it. All I wanted for my children was peace and well-being, but they have sought pain and purification, for my law does not tolerate imperfection. Therefore, all who have stained themselves must be cleansed, and everyone who has deviated from the right path must return to it. From this nation you see the whirlwind devastating all peoples in its path, yet you remain unshaken. You do not appreciate the peace you enjoy, and you do not recognize the privileges I have granted you. You refuse to accept my divine will. You consider your trials to be unjust, and you turn against me. I will wait until you have passed through this world and judged your lives yourselves. You will become unyielding judges of your spirits, and within me you will only behold the Father, He who always forgives, blesses, and loves. You have become weary through your constant disobedience, and this result reduced you to tears. You have been asleep for a long time, and your awakening will be bitter. I have promised humanity to send an army of 144,000 beings who will be scattered throughout the entire world. Humanity is awaiting them because it knows that each and every one of them is a spokesman and an interpreter of my commandments. After the entire earth has been afflicted, after all nations, institutions, and households have been judged to their very roots, and after humanity has washed away every stain, then you shall go forth, prepared in my name, to take my doctrine to your brethren. I, the Father, have wept over this humanity as I beheld it ascend to the highest levels of wickedness. Mankind has deliberately ignored my words and disregarded my laws. Now, however, the hour of humanity's thorough self-reflection is approaching, and on that day I will pour out all that I have reserved for it is my very beloved child. Those who believe in me will behold me earlier than those who doubt. How many times have I knocked on your hearts, and you have neither heard nor felt my presence? I only wish to tell you to better yourselves, so your spirits will enter this era of light and grace, cleansed of all stains. If you are in possession of my seed, sow it and transform the arid fields into fertile ones, your prayers being the life-giving irrigation. Love one another and live in peace within your homes. For I have seen that, in a family of 5, 2 are against 3, and 3 against 2. When you find yourself separated from your loved ones, who will later dwell in the spiritual valley, do not forget them. Communicate with them through your prayers and help them. When you feel that they have become stagnant in their development, encourage them to elevate their spirits. Remember how short your lives on this earth are. So make proper use of your spiritual gifts and powers and accomplish great works, which will bring you salvation and health. I give you the bread of the Spirit, but may you seek the material bread. As much as you seek physical tranquility and well-being, seek spiritual progress as well. Your cross is not heavy. I have shown you how to climb the hill of Calvary back when I was carrying the cross of labor, suffering, and the sins of all humanity. So, why should you, with a much lighter cross, not be able to climb that hill as well? However, in case your strength should fail you under its weight, you have me as a helper, and I will not let you fall. The pain you so eagerly avoid is an inexhaustible fountain of purification and renewal for your soul. You yourselves have experienced that many times after a trial, you feel relieved, cleansed, and at peace with your conscience. This word will give new heart to the inhabitants of the nations that have become weary from suffering. But I tell you that soon, very soon, they will behold me, with my arms wide open, just as I was on the cross, waiting to tenderly embrace them and take them to my kingdom of peace. My peace be with you.